may have a few others joining us. Thank you very much, Kisa. We do have a few others who are going to be joining us, and as you just heard, one of the things that we always do is we do record our meetings, so please don't let that stop you from participating, asking questions. There's a couple ways that you can do this, of course, is you can use the chat feature, which is at the bottom of your screen. If you scroll down, a little chat bubble will pop up. Please feel free to use that, or simply unmute yourself and talk. Again, it's always nice to see individuals. If you're able to have video on, that's great. If it's, again, not available with your computer, that's also fine. Of course, my name is Sue Gordon. I'm the Chief Operations Officer for Quillo, and I'll be hosting today along with my other colleagues, who of course are John Dickerson, our CEO, Kisa, who's our production technician, all extraordinaire, and then Rebecca, who's up in Minneapolis today. So we do have a number of folks from across the country today, so thank you very much for taking the time to join us. Everywhere from California, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Indiana. So again, thanks to everyone for getting on. Our topics today and our agenda is we're going to be talking through a little bit about Disability Awareness Month and just, again, giving you some ideas and some tips on things that you can do as you start to think about Disability Awareness Month. And also, if you are doing something special, please share that. One of the things that we want to do with this space is really make sure that individuals have the opportunity to share what they're doing. We'll also talk a little bit about the new user series, help you understand how you can leverage and utilize that. And just that's feedback that we've received from our users out there in terms of how we make this look a little different for folks. And then we're also going to help you flourish in 2020. If you were at our January kickoff, we talked about 2020 being the year to flourish, and that also includes you. So we're going to take a moment with some self-care and show you one of our videos that we have, and then we'll wrap up and talk a little bit about the next call. So that's where our agenda is heading. And again, for everybody who's across the nation, welcome across the country. So with that being said, so March is Disability Awareness Month, and as we always try to do, we try to think ahead and plan around, so what might our videos look like? What can we do to continue to share the message? And I think here we like to call it a little bit more Ability Awareness Month, and really emphasize the strengths that people do have. So we have done some planning, and we just want to share with you a little bit around what we are doing to help encourage that awareness. So as we put out our daily focus schedule, we will be highlighting each week kind of different perspectives. So week one, we're going to have the parents' views. So we're going to go back into our archives and look at, what are the parents saying? How are they encouraging our direct support professionals to do the best job they can do? On week two, we're going to be focused on self-advocates' view. So once again, those individuals who are receiving services, what do they want to say to direct support professionals? How can we help raise that awareness through their eyes? The week three, we'll talk about the direct support professionals' view. And then week four, we have the leadership view. So then we'll focus that last week on just some of our favorites in terms of the awareness. So we will have that calendar kind of put together, and along with the notes, we'll make sure that you have access to being able to receive that. So on the right-hand column there, we started brainstorming a little bit about ideas to really create your own content. So this is where I really kind of want to hear from you. Is there a focus on Disability Awareness Month in your organization? Is there not? Tell us a little bit about what your groups are doing to again, raise that awareness. And as you think about that, how can you leverage Quillo to get messages out. So maybe it's make videos to really just follow the weeks that we have. If you've got parents, if you've got self-advocates, maybe you want to highlight them for Disability Awareness Month. What type of celebrations are you doing? As well as, you know, we'll talk a little bit more here in a few seconds around using the 52 prompt cards in just a second. So I want to open it up a little bit, and again, unmute your microphones, but share with us a little bit around what you're doing in your organizations to really celebrate Disability Awareness Month. Who would like to start? I know we've got people out there with some great ideas. So,
you know, one of the things that we saw last year is that March is one of our highest views during the course of the year as people started looking at this. And we broke out each of the weeks with some features on that. You can add your own in any time of that. I was talking with a parent the other day that their son happens to have Down syndrome, but he now at 37 has also been diagnosed with autism. And they have started reading that as many as 40% of people with Down syndrome may also have autism, but it's never been diagnosed. And so they were thinking about how could they share that with other folks. So when we think about the why of Quillo, the videos are designed to expand people's sense of more than their job, the people that they're taking care of, and the organization that they're part of. So an interesting question is, what are some of the numbers that relate to your organization of how many people are supported, and what are the various things that are doing that people feel part of that and what they're doing. So another great way, I think we have somebody on from Hammer today, one of our new subscribers in Minnesota. I think I saw Barbara was on here. You know, they were formed nearly 100 years ago as one of the first community-based organizations. And while that might not be what keeps people coming to work, it's just something really interesting for people to belong to something, to feel part of that it is something to share as they think about that history, where many organizations were formed after World War II, so they're just in their 60s. Mm-hmm. So interesting as we start looking at what that may be.
Yeah. So again, Barbara, anything that your organization, is this even something that is, I guess, focused on as organizations? Any comments, Barbara, in terms of how you guys view this?
Yeah, we're actually in the middle of our, we call it our second century planning. So we're trying to make a big story around that. And this is great. Try to bring awareness and bring that component to Disability Awareness Month.
Okay.
Barbara, can you share a little bit about Ralph that other people may find kind of interesting?
Sure. Ralph was one of the first individuals supported by Albina Hammer. He actually, Hammer was actually started in Minneapolis on Humboldt Avenue. So they had a little place there, and as they grew, they, as the story goes, Albina bought a piece of property in that little road called Highway 12 in Wayzata, and so Hammer was born. And I think Ralph was probably about, he was a young boy when he came to Hammer and lived here throughout his life. He lived a really good life.
Okay.
Great. Some folks said they had a little bit of trouble history. So again, Ralph is a character formed on a real person. Yes. That has become part of a logo and a statue that just represents the history there that folks have with the organization and what it means to be part of Hammer. So excellent. Anybody else have thoughts on what they'd like to do with Disability Awareness Month and things you may be thinking about of sharing with your own staff. Okay, well, and again, we don't want to put anybody on the spot. So many of you have such creative ideas as you start talking about the messaging. And one of the things that, again, all of our data shows is when they hear from you, it means so much from them. And connecting with your leaders, your DSPs, and talking about what is important to you is really a key factor for people to feel that sense of belonging and connection. So I'm going to turn it back to Sue here, and we'll talk about the prompts.
Yeah. So one of the ways to maybe think about how can we celebrate, what can we do, is we want to use a resource or a tool that I believe most of you have received. There might be a couple of newcomers that may have not yet received their cards. But we, of course, have created this deck of cards. And one of the things we did is we took a quick look at all the cards and said, you know, which cards would be just a good topic as you think about Disability Awareness Month that might prompt a nice video. So we looked at the 5 of diamonds. And again, that particular card, if you recall, it's around kind of the processes and thinking around, you know, what are some of the processes people need to understand in our organization. And so the prompt that we're using is thinking about an update on what's happening at the state level right now that affects us. So is there a video? Is there a message that really resonates around, again, what is happening at the state level and how will that impact us as we think about Disability Awareness Month and helping people become more aware around the importance of celebrating that.
And this is a key time of year for folks because almost in every one of your states, your legislature is going on right now, and almost all of them are looking at issues that affect individuals with disabilities. So it's a great time to do a quick update and share with folks where they can get more information.
Now, as you look through your cards, there are some other diamonds that might, again, prompt other thinking. Take a look at your Jack of Diamonds. Again, another one about just knowing the history of your organization, and again, many more. We also like the one in terms of King of Clubs and really thinking about the habits, you know, who's inspiring you and what's inspiring you. Think about books. Think about an individual that has a disability, and maybe you highlight that as part of a great video for Disability Awareness Month. So take a look at that particular one. As we were shuffling through our card deck, we also found that the hearts seem to resonate a lot with some of the key messages that you might want to use as you start to think about how can I create videos, what can I do? And so maybe you have people start talking about the first person with a disability I ever met. And this is what that person showed me, or this is what they taught me. And again, I think those type of messages really help raise that awareness of the importance of people with disabilities and how they can tug at our hearts and be friends, just like any typical relationship would be. Once again, there are several other cards in your deck, and I will add this as part of the message back to you after the call. But you know, you look at some of the other ones, and maybe you want to highlight that parent to go along with our disability week, where we're going to be highlighting parents. And you know, what's a key story that they've talked about? How have the services and support that your organization provided, how has that helped those parents being able to do what they need to do, whether that's respite care or understanding more about how to better take care of their individual? What are some of those messages? So I think it's important that, you know, again, leverage the cards, think about how are we going to try to raise awareness for the month of March for disability awareness. So those are some of the tips and ideas that we have. And the other thing that I just want to point out, and I'm going to ask Keith if she can actually go out to the site. We have, again, a planning tool. Some of you may have already leveraged it and utilized it. If you go out to our resources page, this is at myquillo.com/resources. That's the URL address. And if you type in the planning, you'll see Quillo video planning template, January through December. We recently took a quick look at that again and glanced at it and said, okay, what do we need to update on that in order for someone to do their planning for the entire 2020 year. So this is a great tool that you can leverage and utilize. And as it pulls up here, you're going to see that not only have we highlighted the Disability Awareness Month, but the other key parts of different themes that we've identified throughout the year. So for instance, in addition to Disability Awareness Month, it's also in March, National Nutrition Month. And then if you look forward, you can see what happens in the other months. And then we've also given you ideas on the types of videos you can do. If it comments as a DF, that just stands for daily focus. And that's where we're saying, you know, kind of plan out your month, identify, is there a time where we're going to make sure that we've got a daily focus out for our staff. I know some of you might use other tools, and that's absolutely fine, but this is, again, a request we had from one of our subscribers who said, you know, hey, how can you help us plan a little bit? And so this was what we came up with, but feel free to use whatever tools you have in your pockets to help you kind of plan, because I think that's really what it's about. For some of you who may have been with us for quite a while, I know that you might, and I see there's a message that just came up. Someone said, hey, I forgot that I had that tool in my back pocket. So make sure you go out there and leverage those and utilize those. So before we leave this, let me just ask, and again, I hope some of you will either chat and say, yes, this was helpful, or do you have other ideas, things, because this is what we want to make this about. You know, what ideas do you have to celebrate that Disability Awareness Month? Please share some thoughts.
One of the great reminders is when we ask people, what were the last 5 messages somebody got from their supervisor? And then now, what do you want the next 5 to be if we're really being mindful? And thinking about those things that we repeat over time, that we start thinking about, it's not one message. It is the cumulative effect. When we talk about the effect of micro-learning, it is not one message that has to be life-changing. It is the overall effect that we are going to be working on over time. I think the sense, and Meredith, thank you so much, of beginning to think about this in the planning side of what is it we want people to think about. Somebody mentioned to me the other day, they said, I wish staff would more buy into our new philosophy. And I asked them, well, how are you communicating that out to them? And they stopped and they said, well, we wrote a position paper and sent it to everybody. And I said, could you take and glean from that position paper short messages that reinforce that over and over again, that take a different approach to it every day by a parent, a self-advocate, a leader, another DSP, that start breaking down that philosophy into things that people can relate to. So it becomes just more that you do it than worrying about it's got to be perfect.
And thanks for the comments that have been put in the chat. So there's, again, I don't know if you are following the chat. feature or not, you can pull that up on your computer. But thanks, Colleen, about using more of the folks that they're serving to tell their stories. That's fantastic. Kelsey, thanks for letting us know. You're just now starting to think about it, and you're getting some ideas by just having the conversation today. So that's helpful. Same with Meredith. Going to think about using maybe that organizational history in a video. So great ways of doing that. Colleen even suggests, what does independence mean to them? That's, again, a great topic for self-advocates to really talk about, because I think direct support professionals, those are the type of things that they need to hear and understand. And I'm sure they're going to learn something from that. So again, great ideas. If you have any others as we're completing the call today, please, put them on the chat. This is, again, the opportunity for you to share what you're doing. So please do that. Okay. Well, as we wrap up the Disability Awareness Month conversation, we now want to move on to what we've done with our new user series. And basically, we've made some changes. So last month, we did highlight that we were going to be doing this starting in February, and we've been able to get those changes made. I just want to say a big thank you to Rebecca and Kisa, because these two worked very hard on just the 4 videos that we've changed this series to. So we're going to give you an opportunity to take a look at what exactly this is about and how you can leverage it and utilize it as you put new users on Quillo. So basically what's changed in the new user series. Going to go back to a little history. Previously, we had 14 videos for a new direct support professional, just kind of welcoming them to the industry, saying this is what this is about. We had experts talking to them about the importance of their role. And we just, again, found that maybe 14 was a little too much, because basically these particular videos, if you do schedule them, they do have to watch the daily focus in order to move it to the next one for the next day. So what we did is we cut that back. We said, you know what, we're going to do 4 videos, and we're going to use this as a way to orient the new users to Quillo itself. We recognized, and somebody mentioned to us, what we've got to be able to do is to really shorten time that we spend with folks. So is there a way that we can create videos to help do that? So we did. We have 4 videos now, and they are the welcome toward the app. So it gives a person on really how to navigate the app itself. So that would be the first daily focus that they would receive if you upload someone as a new user. And then we have another one that's around using the playlist, profiles, and passwords. Oh my. And again, it goes in very specific details about how you create a playlist. What do you need to do if you're going to update your profile? And then how do you reset your password? So again, 52 seconds of just showing them how to walk through that. The third one is MyQuillo. And we're going to actually show you this one and let you kind of see what that one is about, because it really, I think, gives a good explanation of the importance of why we're investing in this particular tool in your organization. So we're going to see if Kisa can help pull this up.
Hey, do you have a minute? Welcome to Quillo. The work you do matters, and you deserve to be reminded of that every day. I have experience working as a direct support professional, and while fulfilling, I know that sometimes it can feel isolating. That's why your organization gives you the opportunity to use Quillo an exciting and supportive tool to remind you of your why. By being part of Quillo, your organization is investing in you and the unique skills you bring to this work. However you Quillo, we hope you make it part of your daily routine. Maybe it's a way to start a shift, browse while your lunch is heating up, or to wind down after a day that may have been particularly challenging. Spend 60 seconds with us here and there to find what you need to fill your cup.
Okay, so that's our MyQuillo. And again, if you set this as the new user series for a new user, this will be one of the 4 that they would actually see. So again, hopefully it helps set the stage as to why take that 60 seconds and watch a video. So then the last one is, what will I see on Quillo? And again, each one of these is set up to just help them start to understand a little bit better the importance of Quillo. So now let's just share a little bit that you've got the daily focus, and what they will have to do is they will have to see those 4 videos before the next daily focus videos come in. So for example, if you've got a new user that gets uploaded, you've set the new user series, which go to the next screen there, Keitha, please. This is how you set that. When you upload the new user, this is the screen that comes up, and this is the individual user. So you put in all their information and you click the little check box that says show this new user series. We have changed that to read the new user series, which says 4 videos. You're going to see a little bit different message there. And we'll update the guide for success and of course the how-to videos. So all of this will be updated. But if you check that box, your new user is going to get those 4 videos. And those 4 videos, they will have to watch those 4 videos before they'll see then the next daily focus. So if you have scheduled a daily focus and that person has not yet watched one of the 4 videos, they're not going to see your daily focus until they watch one of those 4. Or I'm sorry, they watch the series. So just want to make sure that that's clear. John?
Sue, we had a question. These come out 4 days in a row, not 1 a week for 4 weeks. Is that correct? So once you click on that, it goes into everybody gets that over 4 days.
Right.
So we have another question here. Somebody's been on the app for a while. Can they go back and click on that new user series to let them get that for some people that maybe haven't been using the app as much?
Yes. The answer to that question is yes. You can go back and click on that, and they should then receive the 4 user videos. So go ahead and do that. And John, you're absolutely right. It'll be 4 days. So if they get on the app on Monday, they watch the first video. The next day on Tuesday, the second video pops up, and then Wednesday the 3rd, and Friday and Thursday the 4th. So it's 4 consecutive days as long as they've watched the video. So my recommendation to you is to go out to your app, okay, double click on the search bar, and what you're going to see pull up then will be categories: the learn together, the share experiences, take a moment, and then it will also indicate new user. If you look up, if you tap on then the new user, you can actually watch all 4 videos. So we're not going to take the time today to watch all 4, but it might be a good idea for you to really understand what the messages are, so that you've got a good understanding of what they're going to see, okay? Now, if you are uploading a number of individuals, some of you are still fairly new and you may not have yet uploaded your users, so you might be using the CSV file. If you are using the CSV file, there is a column D which says new user series, and all you need to do there is type in yes. And that's prompted on the CSV file if you use that to upload your videos. So we have another question here asking, is there a way a person can see all the first 4 videos in 4 days or every other day rather than a week? Right now there's, okay, hold on one second.
So you can go in and do the new, click on the new, when they do the search feature, and the new user videos will show up under that, what Rebecca shared.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, we also have another question that, is there a way, a subscriber, you want to take that one, Sue?
Yeah, question, is there a way we can load
An
agency-specific video that can make sure that they watch it before they see the daily focus? Is there a way we can load an agency-specific video that they can make sure they watch? Yeah, you have to make it your own. You would have to make it your own daily focus, is what you would have to do. Yeah. Okay.
So it would go to everybody in the organization, not just the new user.
Oh,
So Colleen, did that answer your question, or what scenario are you thinking of?
Yeah, what I was thinking was there a way for, if we put out an agency-specific video that they have to watch that before they see another one. I mean, like so if they miss it say they miss it on Thursday, is it going to repeat it on Friday so that I know everybody's gotten that message? Just a way of kind of accountability, I think, or of making sure people are getting the message, because we do have some people that are very good at reading and checking their videos, and some that are not. And so I guess I was just kind of wondering if there's a way to keep that one up there until they watch it and then it's dismissed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if I'm understanding the question correctly there, Colleen, you want to be able to hold a video until everybody's watched it. Is that the essence of what you're saying there?
Right.
Yeah, and the answer to that is no. When somebody, we do not have a way to do that. That's an interesting approach. I haven't really thought about that. But as of today, there is not a way to do that. So you would have to take a look at your dashboard and see who's watched videos. And you can go back to the specific day and see how many people. You wouldn't know specifically who watched that video. So there's not a way to see that today. Okay, great question.
Thanks. I just another thought along that same line. I was just thinking maybe what I could do is I can check to see who's watched that video, and I could email them that video separately, just out of my regular account, and say, hey, you missed this, you might want to watch this today or whatever. So just another way I can use that video, but do a direct email with it as an attachment or something.
Yes, you could do that. The other thing that you could do is you could reset the video on another day and send out an immediate notification for individuals. That might get some attention if you did that.
Okay.
So that'd be another way you could do that.
Thanks.
Okay, great. Good questions. You have us thinking a little differently in terms of how we might look at doing the video selections. Thank you. Any other questions around the new user series, how you're using it today? Any other questions? Okay. Okay. Well, as we were mentioning, our focus for 2020 is to really think about self-care. And the importance of making sure that we're going to all flourish in 2020. And I know for me, sometimes I kind of get into my little ruts of, go, go, go. I've got, a couple kids, I've got a husband, got friends that, all want a little bit of my time. And I may not always step back and say, wait a minute, where am I? What am I doing to take care of myself? And usually for me, it's just the point of exhaustion, and I just say, okay, I'm physically tired. Well, I think there's a little bit more to look at. And so one of the videos that we're going to share with you today is from our group called Sexuality for All Abilities. And again, it's a self-care video that we'd like to show you. And the two individuals in this particular video are contributors, Leah Ballman, as well as Anna Hayek. And they're just going to talk a little bit about self-care. So Kisa's going to take, do you have the video up, Kisa? Okay. So she's going to take a little time here to get that up, and we're going to hear from them about what self-care looks like.
So we've been talking a little bit about self-care. I feel like it's something that is all over the place right now in terms of like taking a yoga class or eating some chocolate or treating yourself. Like, what do you think about all this self-care?
I think that self-care is actually more the idea that we can listen to our body and respond to its needs. So it could be taking care of your mental health, your physical health. It could just be stretching, going for a walk. It could also be talking to a therapist.
So self-care is more than just like treating yourself to something special, huh?
Yeah, self-care can also be surrounding yourself with people that you enjoy being around and moving on from past conflicts in your life. Do you have a favorite self-care activity, Anna?
I love to go on a walk, especially near some water. How about you?
My favorite self-care activity is reading a good book.
Nice.
Great. What I like about that video is it really just reminds us to listen to and act on your body's physical, mental, and emotional needs. And sometimes I think I probably don't necessarily listen to that emotional side as much. And so I need to pay better attention to that. I know for me, and I'm going to ask each of you on the chat feature, just type down what is your self-care go-to. For me, it's I have a really good friend from college. She happens to be here in Indianapolis, and we've known each other for many years. So for me, it's about meeting with her monthly and just going out and having a good one-on-one time wherever. So it could be a movie. It could be just sitting down and having a nice drink together. It could be a long walk in the park. We both enjoy playing pickleball, so it might be a pickleball game together. But what is your self-care moment? So if everybody could just jot down your ideas in the chat feature. Let's take a look at what some self-care ideas everyone has. So again, what do you do? So we've got some yoga. That's great. You know, we've got a lot of yoga videos out there. We've got drinking lots of water, that moment to reflect on the good that got done today, just 3 minutes, then reading a nice book. Someone else walks, somebody takes a nap. Having that little me time, that certainly is very valuable and important to catch everybody's. A massage and quiet time, I like that one too. Any others? Let's see. Hiking in the nature. Thank you. Great. Yoga again and more walking. Yeah, getting out. You know, it's certainly a great way to do that. So just a reminder that, you know, our take a moment videos really are to help reflect on and take care of yourself. So I know for me, sometimes just at the end of the day, I sometimes go out to Quillo and I just say, okay, let me just watch a video. And actually there's one on there that my son did, which is a time lapse. And so I Google his name and just watch his time lapse because it has a lot of personal meaning for me, but it's also just kind of cool just to sit back and kind of reflect as the water is flowing and the way that he's done that particular video. So just remind folks, if you're walking around the office, ask them, you know, how you doing? And have you taken care of yourself today? And it's also, again, another great way of reminding them that Quillo has opportunities to do self-care. So I hope by seeing this particular video, again, for some, it might have been a repeat. You might have already seen it. But it just, again, reminds us that there are a lot of ways and a lot of things we have to think about on a daily basis in terms of taking care of ourselves, especially from that physical, emotional, and mental needs that we all have. So.
And for those of us that mentioned yoga, Rebecca's put a great series on of 1 minute yoga that a lot of us never thought we could do yoga because we're not particularly limber, we're not particularly agile. As a former football player, that joints don't work as well. But you can do yoga sitting down, you can do it standing up. You don't have to be always in these positions that some people's bodies don't move in. But thinking about that, take a moment, and things that DSPs could then do together with people they support that find those key moments are all part of Take a Moment.
Absolutely. Great. Okay, so now I just want to open it up. I know, again, people are at different stages of using Quillo. Hopefully what we've talked about today helps you identify maybe there's some things you can do for Disability Awareness Month, how to use that new user series, and as well as self-care. Are there other things, other questions that anyone has relative to using Quillo that we can answer, or comments that you have a question about that would be helpful while we're on the phone? So either type it in the chat or feel free to unmute and ask your question. So we want to open this up for anybody now. Any questions? Yes.
Colleen, I don't know if you saw my question, but just a thought would be, I think there could be a way to set up a Quillo that would be messages that would kick out strictly to families or parents or the individuals themselves, kind of a separate set of videos, and like to have a separate system that could go to those individuals as opposed to just the DSPs and staff.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Oh, it's an excellent thought, and quite honestly, we haven't shared it with folks yet too much because we've been still in the research and testing stage, but we're working on a version of Quillo that would be free to all families, whether they're in the system or outside the system, that is all based on research that is really interesting. So the number one correlation in the research on outcomes for individuals with disabilities is not the severity of the disability, it is the expectation of the family, the friends around them, and the individual themselves. And those expectations are built, according to the research, by stories and examples of other people's success. And we are beginning to build that out to folks, of looking at a version of Quillo that would daily, using the life course model, start sharing those success stories, both local, unique to that state, and then nationally on each of the life course ideas. So as that evolves, we'd love to share it with folks. And many of the videos in the Quillo library are very appropriate, but a lot of them will be done by family members, self-advocates, and people out across the community and sharing that success. For example, what better examples show a 14-year-old in high school about possible jobs is seeing Emily work in a hospital, or Sam work in a bank, or Fred work in a car dealership, that they start seeing people that look like them having access to a life and what that means. So thanks for asking that question. We did our first pilot with 48 people testing the concept, and those 48 family members and self-advocates watched over 1,100 videos in 2 weeks and started asking for information. So we're working on a version for families and making that accessible to people. So thanks for the question.
Great. 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 Barb, I received your message. Thank you very much for sharing. Their group's just getting started, so they're going to be pushing out messages. So great. Appreciate your thoughts today too. Thank you. Great. Anybody else? Any other questions or comments? All right.
I want to do one quick shout out before we're done. I know Preston's on here from Stone Belt here in Indiana. And this weekend, they are going live with a production written by individuals with disabilities and performing in a local playhouse in Bloomington. And it is entitled I Am You. And I believe the plan is to record that and to get that available to folks. And one of the connections, Preston, maybe we can connect, is with Kelsey and the folks at Futures out in California, where they have a film studio. And they train actors and folks to work in the movie industry. I'd love to get the two of you guys connected with some of your folks there as well. So, great.
Okay.
And anything you want to add, Preston, to, I just see you put something on the chat.
Yep. Yep. Preston shared correct. I Am You this week and weekend, and it really just appreciates the shout out. So thanks, Preston. Okay. Well, we're getting some good feedback saying that there were some good ideas on this call. Your input is always, always important to us. If you have ideas for a topic or something you want to see on our next call, please shoot us an email. Let us know. If you have any feedback for us, we don't put out formal feedback saying, you know, hey, give us your feedback on the call or anything like that, but please let us know about, you know, what's working for you on these calls, what else do we need to do. Kelsey, I think you also included inclusion films. Everyone check out Carol of the Bells on YouTube. Okay, so gave us another tip for another good inclusion film. Excellent, thank you for that. So, very helpful. So our next call is going to be March 19th. I feel like we just talked about March. So, so we hope to see all of you on that call. Again, if you have any ideas or any specific things that you want us to talk about, please shoot us an email. We're here to help in any way. If you've got any other questions about video production or ideas, anything like that, you know, please reach out. So until the next call, thank you all very much for your time today. Valuable input, really appreciate it. So we will see you again on March 19th and maybe even talk with you before then. Thanks. Take care, everyone.
Wonderful.